All right. Any more questions from the audience or in the chat? Okay. So then, yeah, before we close the workshop for today, Ming, Allegra, and I wanted to leave you with some thoughts about, yeah, some things that we've been thinking. Wait, is that still work? Yeah, that we have been thinking a lot about recently, and yeah, I think like this workshop here. Let me try and arrange that in a way that you can still see them. Yeah, what this kind of like workshop like indicates like nicely to us is like how interconnected the community can be, right? And like, so I don't know, you may have noticed like just within like the instructors here, we kind of like have already a very well established like collaboration. Fortunately, because a lot of us like overlapped at some point in the Dorstein lab, which has been an absolute fantastic collaborative environment that we could like, yeah, I don't know, build up like these collaborations and I would say friendships, right? Like we had those already, but since then it's also growing, and like now more and more people like, I don't know, like Effie or like the people in Madeleine's lab, you know, like are joining this group, and it's been like super fun. And that's not where we're not an exclusive group, of course. So like we're very open to like collaborate with all of you, right? And it's been awesome to have all the participants like here in this room. Of course, it's kind of like also limited. We could only admit 50 people because simply like the room would not fit much more at a, I think, reasonable temperature. Yeah, like yeah, yet we wanted to like expand this further, right? And I think by the decision to actually live stream that on Zoom, we could open that up to kind of like an almost unlimited group of people. Okay, in reality, it would have been 300 because that's the maximum that Zoom meetings support. But well, we did not fully reach that anyway, so we're still good. Partially because, yeah, some people might be just like sleeping right now and they're like on the other side of the planet and can't really attend this here, right? So therefore, we're not only like streaming it, but we're also like recording it and hopefully gonna put it on YouTube to actually like make this like workshop and this like, I don't know, sharing of ideas also accessible to a larger crowd. And this is really like an awesome experience to see how, you know, like interconnected like the community can be. And yeah, like it's not the first time that we do stuff like that. So I don't know, we've been doing Zoom workshops like for a long time there. The pandemic certainly has been like a kind of game changer for us because we all were sitting at home and we could not leave our house. And whether you were in San Diego or in, I don't know, Berlin or in Sydney, whatever, you know, you could just be like connected. So, and I think this might be a direction where like the science community as a whole is kind of like heading to, right? And like we're like kind of like isolated in our labs or at home, but then we're also like interconnected through the internet. And maybe, so this is now a thought Ming, Allegra and I were thinking about a lot recently. Maybe the future of like science is kind of like in the internet, and in the future institutions will be virtual, right? So that's why we want to propose an experiment here, and we move this now to the other side, and that is kind of like the launch of a virtual multi-omics lab, where, you know, in a very fun and loose way, we could start, you know, like connecting people. So at the beginning, it might be, you know, was in a smaller crowd, but then this could be a model for, you know, like a growing, I don't know, like new way of like doing science together online. And I think we have like all the resources available with Zoom, Google Docs, Jupyter Lab, you know, Colab, whatever. Like we can like do a lot of stuff online here. So yeah, that's why we wanted to throw this thought out to you, and maybe some of you are interested to joining such an endeavor. And like the objectives would be relative straightforward. Most importantly, we want to remove barriers. You know, we want to like have people like access to that and like participate from wherever they are. They just need an internet connection. It's the only thing, right? Then, yeah, we want to learn new things. We want to try new things. We want to do innovative science, and then, you know, also be like productive with it. So we want to publish those results. And I think we've been, or we have a pretty good track record in writing papers with many authors, which has been, I think, a very fun experience so far, and really like convinces also like the people that, you know, that might be like a useful things we develop. And then, yeah, in particular, for like participants that join and they're kind of new, like on a student level, obviously this provides a lot of like training opportunity as well as like networking, so you get to know people, and then maybe, you know, also like opportunities for your future career development. So you kind of like check out your next position. Yeah, I think with that, I want to hand over to Ming, who is gonna talk a little bit about like the specific kind of structure we thought, and then also about the resources.
Yeah, you just can't get rid of me. So one of the things, you know, again, as Danny expressed this, I'm starting my own new lab at UC Riverside like the last like 6 weeks. And I barely go to campus. So why do I need my students to go to campus? So, but the broad structure is there's, you know, what we call scientists and students, so kind of two separate roles, and there can be a lot of gradients in between, but we'll start here. But broadly, each of these roles have different responsibilities, and at the end of the day, kind of different payoffs or kind of payoffs. So for the scientists, what they'll do is they'll supervise the project, come up with project ideas, manuscript writing, and manuscript editing. And students will also help with generating ideas, but not kind of in the same, they're not fully responsible for the idea in terms of, you know, they might be being trained, so it's not fully on them to come up with novel ideas. But they will be doing the analysis as well as doing a lot of the manuscript writing. And one key thing that we wanted to put out here and how we named kind of these roles is that the scientists don't particularly have to be professors, right? So one of the things that we found out, and I think this is a testament to the kind of the fun nature that we had at UCSD in the Dorstein lab, is a lot of the new projects that we came up with during the time we were postdocs, and we were doing everything that was required to kind of develop new research ideas, write the paper, and publish. We didn't need the title of professor or PI in front of our names to do that. And we wanted to kind of emphasize that here. We just happen to be that now, just kind of the natural progress of our careers. But this hopefully will give this opportunity to also train any postdocs or, you know, senior grad students that want to be faculty into developing that skill set. But we're going to start off very likely, you know, with me, Allegra, and Danny. But as we progress, it doesn't have to be this kind of, it doesn't have to be a PI. But at the end of the day, you know, we want the students to develop these skills, and no matter where they are. And number two is they can be supervised or work with several different scientists, and it's with different overlapping and complementary expertises. And so just as you're seeing here, we're working with Allegra and Danny. They know things that, you know, about chemistry or biology that I don't know. And, you know, in some cases, it's like, they spend so much time, and there's no way that I can catch up. But that's what a, you know, collaboration is for. And then we hope that the students can benefit from that and learn from multiple people. And so that's why you can kind of see this as more of a web and a network rather than kind of a top-down hierarchy. And so given that, we kind of organized how these projects can go into several different categories. And so because it's virtual, there's limitations on doing lab work. But broadly, what we've come down to is there's going to be data science projects where we're going to start exploring some sort of analytical data that's been generated or very quickly going to be generated, where we can use software to start gaining new insights in terms of chemistry or biology. That'll be fun. And so this is kind of, you know, probably the easiest way to get introduced to this area. And then Separate from that, or a different kind of project, is software engineering. So how can we create new software, new tools, new web infrastructures that support open science? And so this does not mean to actually analyze a specific data, but rather how do we interact with data in a more software sense. And then moving into kind of a bigger project, these are bioinformatics algorithms. How do we utilize some insights that we gain from the data science projects to conceive of new ways to analyze data? And then finally, there's this communication aspect. And so if we've created a tool, or if there's a new way that's kind of interesting how we can apply a tool, one of the key things is to disseminate, how to use it, how to think about this new way of analyzing data. And so creating educational opportunities, tutorials, videos, workshops. And so some scientists really thrive working in this communication space, and it's really important. So that's one other project type. And throughout all this, my lab is throwing up a lot of computational resources that we want to, be enablers for the community. As part of this, we're going to have Jupyter notebooks for any various number of these projects, where we will very closely be able to control the computational environment, which gives us a lot of flexibility, whatever software packages, GPUs or whatever. And so we have a few virtual machine servers that we can throw out this problem. So a lot of CPUs, a lot of RAM, and a lot of really fast storage is what we want to give around this, as well as, again, everything's going to be, public in GitHub and things like that at the end of the day. So, but those are kind of organizational-ish structures and computational resources. And yeah, Danny, do you want to talk about timeline or Allegra's? Well, we'll talk.
Yeah,
I guess I'm talking.
I can talk about the timeline.
Yeah.
So it's nice to be back with you guys. I guess virtually this time, but at least I can be here virtually. So here's just a quick overview then of the timeline that we're envisioning for the lab. And so we've sort of mapped out the first 3 years, since this seems like a somewhat manageable amount of time. And so as you can see here then, this metabolomics workshop is sort of one of the kickoff. Well, it actually is the kickoff of the VMOL. We've never before announced it. And so we envision then having similar data science boot camps later in the year. And then sort of with these two training events, then we'll actually start the first set of research projects. And so we'll start off by sort of organizing, brainstorming what these research projects will be, and then we'll carry out those projects for the year, and then they'll culminate hopefully in some publications. And then we'll sort of take the same process in next year and then the following year. And so basically what you'll be able to do if you join the VMOL is you'll be able to take a project from basically its conception all the way through the analysis of the data or the development of the tool till the publication. And so we really are hoping that we'll get students of various levels, because we want to be teaching students like how to conceive of a new idea, how to actually do the research, and then how they can actually create some final publication. But we're also interested in working with students who already have all these expertise. And so really we're interested in just involving anyone that thinks this sounds like a cool setup. And then throughout the whole process, we'll be having regular lab meetings, and these lab meetings will be with the larger VMOL community. And so I think this will be really nice, as like Ming and Daniel and me, we're all starting labs. Ming and my labs are small right now, so it'll be nice to have a larger group of people. Ming and Danny were talking about, the importance of collaboration. And so I think these lab meetings will allow us to sort of interface with one another. And I think these collaborations really can sort of propel the science forward much more quickly and really facilitates doing super exciting things. Yeah, and so then how can you get involved if this sounds like, you know, something that might be a really cool experiment to you? Well, just check out the webpage. It's brand new. It's vmol.org, or you could talk to us, I guess Daniel in person, or me, you know, on Zoom, or Ming on Zoom. There's also Zoom office hours that you can attend, or you can just drop us an email here. And so, yeah, hopefully this sounds like an exciting experiment to some of you. I think the three of us are quite excited about this because I think it really, yeah, it really embodies kind of our excitement about, you know, reducing those barriers, getting pretty much anyone who wants to be involved into the science that they want to do. So yeah, hopefully it sounds interesting to some of you.